Hello, great people. If you are a Nigerian or an African, whether you are in your country or in the diaspora, I need you to please pay 100% attention to the video showing on the screen right now because it has a lot of information for you as regards what Nigerians and Africans are facing abroad. The video will tell you what some of our brothers and sisters are passing abroad because as you can see in the video, two Nigerians were being attacked by a Briton with a knife. And pay attention to the video because it has a lot of information for you. And in a moment, I'll allow us to watch the full clip of the video so that we can hear the background effect and discussions, the reaction of people at the background. Then when we come back, we'll be looking at what could have led to that particular issue and what could be done to stem the tide of such issues in the future. What is life in diaspora like? We'll be looking at these issues and a whole lot more on this episode of Politin with Dr. Mosholadiji. First, let us look at this video. Then we'll come back for some interesting discussion. Let's watch.
Я херею, вообще дебил. Узи! Я охерел, утило сидит цокать.
Hey! 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 Police! Hey!
Hey!
Hey! Hey!
Police! Hey! 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 Я охерел. О, долбаный. Яхша.
There you have it. You just watched the video of a Briton attacking two Nigerians with a knife, and you can see there were some serious stabbing to the Nigerian guy. I hope the man survives it. First, we must not be partial. So therefore, I would say that what led to that altercation, what led to that confrontation between them to the extent that, they are now pursuing themselves with arms, I really don't know. I am not aware of what led to that. Maybe it's the Africans that are wrong, or it's the Briton. Maybe the Briton is a racist, or maybe the Briton is just exhibiting pure hate, or maybe the two African brothers have, found the trouble of the Briton. I'm not aware of what led to that. But what I'm aware of is a Briton, using arms to inflict fatal injury on the Nigerian brother that we just saw on the screen. And one thing that we must take note is the Briton was stabbing the man with the intention to cause fatal harm or kill, not for protection. You may occasionally, stab someone in the course of protecting yourself. But in this case, the way the man was stabbing the man, the Nigerian, is not for protection. He was doing it to cause fatal harm or to apparently, kill that particular person. And that itself is not a good thing. If those people had been with firearms, it would have been a different story. But those people were not with firearms. They are trying to even run away from him. They are trying to escape him. He still dragged the person out of the moving car and they decide to be inflicting injury on that particular person. So the UK government needs to look into this, but there are many cases like this that is being reported every day, and I'm not surprised because recently, some of you that are ardent viewers on my channel, I recently made an analysis of a video, a Briton who made a 4-minute video that there will be protests in the UK as regards migrants, and migrants are taking over their jobs, and if care is not taken, migrants will populate their city, So much so that when they grow old and their children begin to grow up, the migrants would have taken over their culture, their values, and everything. And they said the protest will be holding on March. I don't know whether the protest eventually held or not, but the truth is that there are some Britons that despise Nigerians, particularly Africans. That notwithstanding some of the negatives that has been attached to some of our brethren in the diaspora. Now, let us go to the realm of international relation and diplomacy in all of this, in the sense that once there's migration, especially if there's mass migration, as Africans are migrating to the UK, particularly the Anglophone countries, which mainly comprise the countries that Britain colonized, so long as there's that mass migration, definitely it will begin to affect the culture, the values of the pure Britons. And as they begin to live together, definitely some people will fall in love with themselves. They will import the African culture there. So there will be kind of like some kind of like mix, people will mix together in terms of emotions, in terms of love, in terms of value, in terms of culture. And if they don't want Africans in the UK, they don't want Africans to migrate to the UK, one of the things that must be done or that should be done is the redistribution, of wealth. Redistribution of wealth will reduce migration. What do I mean by that? Most of these African countries have been greatly exploited by UK and some of these foreign colonialists that colonized some of these African nations. And in that instance, the global wealth is concentrated to some few nations. So people will naturally, it is natural. It's just like when you pour sugar on the floor, the ant will naturally follow the sugar. They will naturally locate the sugar. So also for human beings. So long as the global wealth is concentrated in the developed countries of the world, definitely, what do you expect? People from the emerging countries that have been exploited by the government of these countries, definitely they would want to migrate. They would want to go to where the wealth is. They would want to go to where the resources are, where the jobs are. Definitely they will want to migrate to there. So one of the ways to curb this kind of thing is the UK government should also begin to do what I can call redistribution of wealth. And how can that be done? One is compensation to the colonized countries. Begin to compensate them, pay them for slave trade, pay them for colonialism. And when you compensate them, definitely you can also, if you so desire, because we cannot, overrule the role of corruption in some of these countries, particularly Nigeria. So you can begin to monitor how that money will be used, just as they usually do now. If they want to give aid and loans to country, you see that the World Bank and the IMF will tell the country that agree with us, what do you want to do with this money? Then you will tell them what you want to do with it. Then they will begin to monitor you whether you utilize that money appropriately. So maybe the government of UK should begin to value, what they are owing us. They should begin to value in terms of the era of slave trade and colonialism, and begin to pay back so that we can begin to use those money to develop our country. So once that wealth is redistributed, definitely there will be jobs in the country, the African country that there's no job. Then there will be infrastructure in the African country that currently lacks the infrastructure, and there will be less migration. Before you argue with me, I'll give you a case of Malaysia, for instance. Malaysia, because the government of Malaysia have been able to develop their country to some extent, have been able to provide reasonable infrastructure. Malaysians don't travel. They don't go out. US usually give them 10 years. If they apply for US visa, they give them 10 years at a go. But still, Malaysians are not traveling. They say they want to remain in Malaysia. For instance, Malaysians have the right to go and work in Australia. They have an kind of agreement with the government. But despite the fact that they can easily travel to Australia to work and earn better money, be exposed to better lifestyle, they don't travel out of Malaysia. They don't want to go to that Australia to work. They are comfortable in Malaysia. So you want to imagine that if Nigeria has the right resources, the infrastructure resources, educational resources, health resources, the truth is that the number of people that will want to go to the UK would reduce. And that is one of the ways that this kind of attack can be prevented, to the benefit of the UK and also to the benefit of the African countries itself. So maybe we should begin to look at redistribution of wealth, because so long as UK colonized us, so long as UK took our forefathers as slaves, Nigerians will still continue to migrate to the UK because that is where the wealth is concentrated at. Then another thing is the UK police needs to up their game. This apparently is a failure of the police system, and because if people have been brought to book, definitely, these cases would have reduced drastically. And one thing that I can say is that even if the police try to be effective, try to be efficient, the truth is that on British soil, you cannot be more Briton than a Briton. Again, I repeat, on British soil, you cannot be more Briton than a Briton. So if you have a case with your fellow African or Nigerian brothers, then you can be sure of 100% justice. But if you are having a case with all these Britons, definitely you cannot be more Briton on their soil than the Briton, because the British system is structured to favor Britons. Just as if you are in Nigeria, a non-Nigerian cannot be Nigerian more than you, a Nigerian, on a Nigerian soil. So that is why I am advocating that there should be redistribution of wealth, so that there won't continue to be migration. And perhaps these people need to be oriented about what colonialism have done to African countries, so that when they are good students of history, they will know that they are even the ones that are owing Nigerians, they are even the ones that are owing Africans. So if they are properly oriented, maybe they will stop attacking our people in the diaspora. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Dr. Moshola Deji. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course I have great interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.